Hello everyone, it's me, Anthony Coach, a guitarist on YouTube, and today I'm talking all about arpeggios. And I know what you're thinking, me with my RG565. I'm not talking about sweeping the things though. I'm talking about using them as a foundation upon which to create really cool, strong solos. This is actually an area of my playing that I'm working on, so all the demonstrations that you're going to hear coming up, these are really pushing me. This is the stuff that I'm currently trying to get better at, so bear with me. But we'll learn it together, we'll talk about it together. Because most shredders, or aspiring shredders, will probably think, I'm going out on a limb here and making a grand generalisation, but generally think of arpeggios as being a sweep thing that you do. It's not always the case. I'm going to talk in a bit of detail today and give some examples about how you can use these arpeggios as a way of outlining your chords, but then veering away from that. Training your ear, training your fretboard knowledge, all the good stuff. But before I get on to that, you know, these videos that I do, I see you in the comments talking and chatting to each other. It inspired me to do something. I don't want you to have to wait for when one of my videos is out to chat to each other about guitar stuff. So I've launched a Facebook group. It's called the Couch Potato Guitar Community. The link is in the description. I would love to see you there. I'm determined to get it up to 50 members. We're quite a way off yet, but it's got some very nice people in there so far. Come and join the Couch Potato Guitar Community and just chat about cool guitar stuff with each other. Imagine a chord progression. D minor 7 to G minor 7. Yeah, you can solo over that and think about it as being chord 1 and 4 in the key of D minor, which it is. So then you can play the D minor scale over everything and it would sound good. Etc, etc, etc. But if you really get into practicing the arpeggios, and when I say practicing the arpeggios, I mean just in one position, you don't have to do anything crazy. Here's what I'm working with today. That's a D minor 7 arpeggio. In itself sounds very musical. To not put in the 7th, that sounds less musical in my opinion. So I've added, I've harmonised further and extended to get the 7ths in today. And then here's another shape. It's the minor 7 arpeggio but with the root on the G notes. Whoa dear. That's what I'm working with today, those two arpeggio shapes. As the chords change, you know, aside from playing in that linear way, thinking everything's in D minor, what I've been getting into recently and what I'm urging you to experiment with is to just get your ears around switching the arpeggios over the chords. Both the arpeggios are from the notes of D minor, so you're not really changing that much. The notes of the chords are from D minor, but because the simple fact that you're playing them in the correct time means that they fit. You're getting a nice fretboard workout, but more importantly, in a second you're going to hear this, getting a nice ear workout. The arpeggio is just going, these are the notes of the chords. Very strict. Have a listen. So I hope you got a nice ear workout from that. Once you've got to grips with that, you know, your chord progression can be any 2 chords. It doesn't have to be the ones I've done. But once you've got to grips with that, start to phrase with those and be very strict with yourself. So whereas earlier you would do just D minor stuff and not necessarily outline that G chord, just noodle around. Noodling is that bad word that I don't really like using, but I use it all the time. It implies that I think less of noodling. Noodling's important, but when you practice these arpeggios and phrase with them, it really gets you to have to think about the notes you're playing. It slows you down. It really tested me, but it comes up with some nice, interesting ideas that are very solid because they are the notes of the chord. It sounds like this. What that does to my playing. I don't like the sound of it. It makes me, it slows me down by a lot, and I don't phrase particularly nicely, in my opinion, but it gets me, I'm not practicing that. It's getting me ears used to it, and my fingers, muscle memory, it's building new muscle memory. All that good stuff that you need for that foundational stuff. So where to develop this to is simple. You've got your ear used to, here's a chord and here are the notes that you must play, and then here's another chord and here's those notes that you must play. But now veer away from that and think about both coming together. You've got your D minor stuff and your G minor stuff, arpeggios, coming together with a little bit of the D minor, just thinking about being in the scale of D minor, coming together nicely. That playing is a lot more fun to do, but you have to do the tough stuff before you reach that. Otherwise it just devolves into noodling. Again, noodling sounding bad, but in this case it is bad. Okay, noodling's bad. It devolves into noodling, where you're just thinking about D minor and how that can just be played over everything. That's not what I want you to be thinking of when you're practicing in this way. These two chords are from the same key. They're a 1/4 chord progression in the key of D minor, D, F, A, and G, B flat D. Well, they were the 7th versions. But I think that this exercise really, really comes into its own when you deliberately choose two chords that are not in key, that sound odd together, and that's exactly what I did. I chose these two chords. I stuck with D minor 7. But then, got to get your ear around this one, because the next chord that comes in is a D flat major 7 chord. So it's that for a few bars. Whoops, minor. And then this thing. I think about it as D flat Lydian, mode 4 of A flat major. But you're going to see a very condensed version of what I've just talked about. I'm simply going to play the arpeggios as you get your ear around this weird music. Then I'm going to improvise, but very strictly with the arpeggios only, and then veer away from that. This is a shortened version. You could spend an hour on each of these, an hour on the arpeggios, an hour on phrasing with arpeggios, then an hour on phrasing a bit more fluidly with the arpeggios as a foundation. But you're going to see, I don't know, 25 seconds of it just condensed down. Sounds like this. And it's that kind of playing that I'm currently really interested in. Yeah, you can play D minor stuff over chords that are all in the key of D minor, but think beyond that. Think about the chords that you're playing, the sounds that are available to you. It makes me think about players like Steve Vai. It makes me think about jazz. You know, that's my main inspiration recently. When I say recently, I mean over the last couple of years. And going forwards, trying to incorporate jazz into my playing. That's their entire thing. Playing chords as melody, unless it's modal jazz, but hopefully it gets the point across. Think about arpeggios when you play. They're not limiting to you. A lot of players think, oh, you know, I've got all those notes of the D minor scale and now you're just telling me to play D, F, A, C. That's really limiting. Well, yeah, it is, but only if you stick strictly with them for a 3-minute solo. Veer away from them and add in some tenser notes, but always come back to them. Use them as a strong foundation. What do you think? Let me know down there. Do you like the way it sounds? Are you going to give it a go? Are you even watching this far? If you are, then remember what I said about the Facebook group. I want to see you there, coming in and joining in, just chatting about guitar stuff. You know you love it. We all love it. Thank you all very much for watching, but extra special thanks to the names that are popping up. They support me on Patreon. That's very nice of them. Check out the Patreon. You can have video responses from me where you play something, send me a video or ask me a question and I'll give you some response to it. It's not a lot of money, but I give you a bit of a guitar lesson over there. Thank you very much for watching. You're about to hear some more soloing over those weird chords while those incredible names pop up at the top. Thanks a lot.